you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, StreamYard still can't figure it out. How's it going, guys?
I guess okay. It's it was like what happened there? It was just like hey.
I mean, man, I don't know what is going on with StreamYard, but
Well, I thought we were ending the show that quick. I'm like, hey,
and we're out.
I just feel like Y2K has finally caught up to us now, and we are going through Y2K. I don't know for sure, but I feel like that.
25 years later, that's quite the delay.
It is. It is. But it is a real thing.
If we're going to put on our tinfoil hats today, like if that's the way that we're going to go, we're starting.
We're starting now. Okay.
If that's the way we're starting here, we talked a little bit offline about how, and I wonder because we don't have any comments. Are we on?
We are live. We are
live. And but you know what? I'm gonna
no. I put a YouTube screen up just because I wanted to make sure.
All right, good. It's all right. There we are up there. All right, good. Because I want to check myself now. All right, perfect. Because they have no comments. I'm like, ooh, what did we do already? Is there something wrong?
No, we got 12 people watching already, so it's not like it's terrible, but.
Yeah. See, there's Gino.
Thank you, Gino. We appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
but since we got the tinfoil hats on, and kind of, I want to just go what we talked about offline before we came on. Want to reach out. Has anybody else, anybody watching, had the sore throat lately or a cough lately that they haven't been able to figure out? You go to the doctors, like I said, I brought my girlfriend to the hospital a couple of times, because she's got asthma as well, and has had, woken up in like coughing fits where she can't breathe and things like that.
Sure.
But in the process of this, my head has been in a fog. Like it's just been, I haven't felt as lucid, and almost that I am operating at like 75-80%.
So do you have allergies?
No.
Okay.
No. But that's one of the things that are going on here is that like the doctors that are talking about it are like, yeah, there's something weird going around that people who don't have allergies typically have allergies now. Like they've got something going on, and there's a fog that's attached to this. And in the process of this, like when I started to think about that, the first thing I said was, this is government related. With all the stuff, I don't smoke, and I have been on the wagon ish. When I say ish, I have not been completely like alcohol free, but I have been completely smoke free.
Okay.
And I have like very little drinking lately. Like it's because I've had this fog and I haven't quite figured it out. Like I want to figure out like what's going on. So
yeah, and the only reason I say allergies is because my wife, she has allergies and asthma, and so she was fighting with that for a little while. Coughing fit in the middle of the night kind of stuff. I don't have allergies or anything, so I mean I've been fine. 80%. I mean, that's a good day for me anyway. So, I'll take it.
I haven't seen anything done around our area. Not that I know of anybody. So I think that might just be a localized thing.
Just
where
localized chemtrails for you. Let's go. Yeah, mold could do it.
I will tell you though, the fact that Pags lives above a bar, there's no way he could ever totally be alcohol free. That would just be weird.
Well, no, I've gone on the wagon. I have absolutely gone on the wagon. It's not as hard as you think it is, when you live above a bar, because it can get annoying really quickly. Like, and there's been, especially lately, like when you have a 12-hour charity event that happens at the bar. I mean, like I said, I love this place, and this is my home. and the backyard, and having 2,000 people come through the backyard was awesome.
Yeah.
Sure.
That being said, it's like I couldn't drink much at all because I also ain't got the taste for it. So there's this the other part of this, like there's certain COVID-esque situations that are happening with whatever it is that's going around here. At least they're in this area. Obviously, it hasn't made its way into rural Houston and or Seattle, but I mean here, like I said, it's like there have been people who have started to lose their taste and smell, and it not be COVID.
Gotcha. Well, see, that's
So
probably why we don't have it, because we started the whole COVID thing. This one's just like,
Right.
oh, we'll give them a break. Like,
Hey,
maybe.
question. I got a question. I've always wanted to ask you this. Now, you live above a bar. My curiosity is, do you ever have a hard time like sleeping at night? Like, does like the bar noise? Does it ever get to a level where it interrupts your sleep or whatever?
Sometimes, there is like certain times on like a Saturday night where like I remember one time specifically I wasn't feeling so great and I went to bed early, and I went to bed at like 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday night, which is odd in general. You know what I mean? That's just because I am a,
Yeah.
and at about 11:30, the guy who plays a lot of live music here, like had everything blasted on 12. And like it was like the scene in Back to the Future where he puts the headphones on him and goes and like scares the shit out of him. I literally jumped like and I had to peel myself off of the ceiling because of of this. And this, like I said, I was like asleep in bed and he blasted it so loud. Like I like literally I went downstairs. I'm like, do we really need it this fucking loud? Like there's not that many people in the place, but I didn't do that because he's a buddy of mine. You know what I mean? But like it's like yo, dude, like come on now, like it's like I don't know. I know you were trying to be funny. It wasn't fucking funny.
yeah.
So,
And
yes,
I wanted that because it's not like okay. So if I'm in my house and I've had a couple of neighbors in my life when I lived in a townhouse where they would play this stuff loud, I'd be like, "Yo, man, you gotta turn that mess down. I can't sleep." But like you're in a bar, it's not like you can just go down to a bar and be like, "Yo, can you turn it down, bro? It's a bar."
so I don't like most of the times it's muffled enough. Like even if they got the jukebox going, I can tune it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not concerned like that. I'm one of those guys that can fall asleep with the television on.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of falls into that same category there.
yeah,
Um, that being said, like I said, if somebody wants to play that type of game where they're blasting it like ridiculous, like because
yeah.
there's been times I'm like, yo, dude, you don't need it. Like there's 18 people in the bar. We don't need the jukebox up at volume 75.
Yeah. They might actually want to hear each other talk a little bit.
Yeah, it's just it gets frustrating a little bit. But other than that, what really is the funnier part is that if sometimes like on a Saturday night, they forget to turn the volume down on the jukebox, so they just turn the jukebox off, and then
Oh,
they turn the jukebox back on
Yeah.
again the next day. But there's no music because the music then cuts off. It's just like okay,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
once you turn it off, it's got like a timer in there so that after 30 minutes of time, whatever was on the playlist gets wiped. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
But
So
the next person to hit play.
so what happens is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it goes into the automatic playlist.
Oh, got it.
So at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, like it's 3 o'clock because from the night before, and it scares everybody in the bar because
Of
most of the
course.
time we're not looking at our watches saying, "Oh, it's about to be 3 o'clock. Let's see what's on the the jukebox today."
Yeah, that's the how many glasses can we break at 3? Yeah, no, and it's funny because when I lived in Mexico, I lived above the bar, and the bar there was was like the workers' bar, right? So it was everybody that worked at bars. It was their after-hour spot.
Yeah,
So
it was the witches and bitches place, is what they call
exactly
that.
Right. And it was funny because it didn't even open till 9 p.m. And then it was open until 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. Right. And so the noise didn't really get to me because, like you, I can sleep through, like a freight train could drive through my yard. Right. Like it wouldn't matter. I'll sleep through that. You touch my front door, I'll wake up. But otherwise, like it's a weird thing. You could make the smallest noise that way, I'll wake up. But if it's just noise, music, whatever, doesn't matter. But what was frustrating is if you woke up in the middle of the night, had to use the bathroom, right? It's a full-on restaurant. So you'd smell these amazing tacos. And you're just like,
yeah.
Do I walk downstairs and get a taco because I wasn't hungry, but now I am?
Now I'm hungry.
Like, they're only like 40 cents, like, because it's Mexico. And you're just like, it's 3 a.m. Do I want to put on clothes and go get a taco? Like, it surprisingly did it very, very few times.
So I was going to say, probably 25% of the time is what
No. Like I think I actually only did it like twice.
Oh, I would I would definitely be in my pajamas down there ordering tacos if that was the case. I don't think I can stop because I am the type of person. If I smell food, I get hungry. When I get hungry, it's game over.
No. And it was one of those where you're just like, you went to bed kind of hungry anyway because you're just like, nothing sounds good. Never mind. And then you wake up and you smell tacos and you're like, yeah, that's going to happen because they were, like you could go buy El Pastor. It's on the spit. And you're just like, yeah, okay, let's do that.
Well, see, but that would make me wake up at 5:30 in the morning to go get my breakfast tacos.
Sure. Yeah.
I love a good breakfast taco too, man. Oh, I love a good breakfast taco.
I like breakfast burritos. I like that. That's,
yep.
I'm not like, first off, I guess I'm more of a burrito fan than a taco fan. Like, I don't like the crunchy tacos because once it breaks
crunchy tacos, that's not a real taco anyway. Like these are all street tacos, right? Because you're in Mexico, so they're making actual,
Well, that means they're using tortilla.
Tortilla.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So and I'm not a big corn taco guy, like the hard shell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I'm not a hard shell fan. Like that's not. But yeah, like a burrito. I love burritos because they're portable, and I'm always running around, so I can just like throw one together and then keep moving about my day.
Yeah, I get that too. Now, when I used to live across from University of Houston in a garage apartment, right around the corner from my place, probably about a 2-minute walk, was a Taco Ketto. And I could go and get, the flour tortillas, whether it be a burrito or a taco. And then you sit down in the plastic lawn furniture and they got the Telemundo game on, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful scene. Beautiful scene.
And thanks for tuning into our complete nonsense so far today.
But on top of that, since we're still talking about that, because I'm going to keep on this topic for just a little while longer, when I would take any type of road trip that was longer than 4 hours or like 4 hours or longer, and I was packing up food to take, you put it in a tortilla rather than put it in a sandwich. Like, you don't get sandwiches, you get tortillas, and like peanut butter and jelly tortilla, friggin', wrapped up and stuff like that. Like, you don't get the jelly or anything all over you. It's actually, it's they hold so much better than the bread. The bread doesn't get like wet and smooshy and like purple colored because the jelly is like run through the bread and stuff like that. It's
how much jelly are you putting on your sandwich? Damn.
Well, I mean, I like when I do it, I don't ever buy the little small tortillas. Like the little itty bitty ones that are meant for small tacos.
Yeah,
you gotta have it like like bigger than my face tortillas. Like that's kind of how I want it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then you got to put it in the middle. So like I put a good amount of peanut butter in there. Because there's a lot of bread, and the bread is folded over, so it's like you're not coating the entire thing, you're putting everything in the center. So because you're wrapping it up
so you
afterwards.
make like a half as, you
Yeah.
mean for the tortilla.
Yeah.
I
So,
got you.
so that's why because ultimately I want to taste the jelly along with all of the tortilla. You know what I mean? Because it's like you don't want I'm not tearing apart the tortilla because I like the bread. I like all that stuff. So
Man, I love a good quesadilla, Robert. Oh, I love it.
He's talking about a peanut butter and jelly quesadilla, basically. So
that's kind of, and that's
yeah. I don't know
that's
about
kind of what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm talking about. It's because ultimately it's like and then it doesn't drip into your seat or into your lap when you're eating a sandwich, a jelly, because the jelly likes to run, so it's all kept in there, and then you can smush the jelly up to, and say.
All right, and your welcome mission for the spike in tortilla sales today.
Mission Tortillas, if you're out there, we are willing to sponsor.
Hey, Rob, that's part of what happens here. Like we get all the different secrets away. There are no secrets between us all here. So.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I love a good, thick, pliable, big flour tortilla. Because you're right. You can do a lot of stuff with that. And it doesn't get soggy. It's perfect for anything, really, honestly.
Right.
Yeah, like it's some pico. That is for
sure.
Let
me ask you this, Bo, because I know you in Pax, I know you've had the real authentic, like Mexican, not Tex-Mex or anything, like the real deal. It just hits differently after you've had it, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this is the way it's made.
Wait, Jay, wait. What?
What? Oh, well, he is in Italy, so
I don't care.
I guess I kind of understand that.
That is interesting.
He did live in Texas. Wait a minute, Joe. You did live in Texas for a little while. So how did you not have one where you were here?
That's what I'm saying.
I forgot. He spent a little time in Texas, so I don't know how you.
That's why I was like, timeout.
I mean, this is only like tortilla capital of the world in Texas. And
I don't know if you're allowed to watch our show anymore. Like,
we may have to put restrictions. I feel like there's restrictions coming his way. Maybe like little stars or something, I don't know what it is, man. But like, it just like real authentic Mexican food. I swear to God, a couple hours later, it just goes right through you. Tex-Mex not so much. The real authentic goes right through you.
So I have not had that problem.
Oh Lord! But it's so good, I can't help it. I just got to keep eating it because I love it. I love it so much. But
yeah, that took a weird turn. I didn't see that one.
I don't see it coming. I apologize.
I tell you, I love also eating.
So how do you know if you don't like them if you've never had them?
Yeah, that kind of now. Have you been drinking, Joe? Are you on the vino right now?
I feel like parts of this story don't add up.
I know. I think Joe's on the vino right now. I think Joe's on the vino. I do.
Anyway. Speaking of nonsense, the WNBA has a few games today. You know when they start? In the middle of the finals game.
Wow.
Nice. Why? Because they are in LA?
No. One of them's here in Seattle. The Storm have a game today. But what doesn't make any sense is why are you taking on, like, you're complaining about ratings, stuff like that. Why are you trying to have viewers during the NBA finals? Like, why wouldn't you have that as a game that precedes it? Right? Yeah. Have it wrap up like a half hour before so people could be watching it and then pop over to the pregame and then watch the finals.
I mean, talk about a marketing screw up on their part. That's bad. That's just bad marketing on them.
Right? Like it doesn't make sense to me. Like you could have had it before. You can't really have it after, right? Because you'd be playing at midnight or whatever. But nobody's staying up to watch that probably. But
no.
But why wouldn't you have it before? I mean, okay, you have it on the same day. It's not like you can just not have games for the this whole week because of the NBA finals and NHL finals. Obviously, you're going to combat those a little bit, but why wouldn't that game just be a little bit earlier in the day? So that
I would just
like have it at 6:40, like 6:30 start time, 6:00 start time.
Yeah, East Coast time. Yeah. No, but that's my point, right? Because then if somebody were to, I don't know, you go to Wings or a sports bar or whatever, right? Then all of a sudden, okay, you're like, I'm going to get there early to make sure I can get a seat in the bar for the finals game. WNBA is on. So even if you weren't a huge WNBA fan, you at least, they're pushing the product out there more, right?
Yeah.
Like it's bizarre to me that you would schedule games during the finals. Like if it wasn't a finals matchup, maybe, I guess, but really you're trying to take on a championship series with, mid-season games. I don't know. It seems like fumbling the bag yet again.
But and not doing it even smart enough, as I'm looking at because I'm just now checking it out and seeing the times that it all starts at 7:00 out their time, right? It's 10:00.
Yeah.
It's at 10:00.
Yeah. So it's like halftime.
So why not even start it at like 7:30? Or 8:00, make it at 11:00 start time Eastern. Since it's at Seattle, it's at Las Vegas, and it's at Phoenix.
No, that's exactly my point. Is you're basically starting this game at halftime of a finals game. You know who's not going to watch? Anybody that's watching that game.
Well,
nobody's going to. I mean, unless you're just getting absolutely blown out by OKC or something. But, I mean, I can't imagine anybody's leaving that game to go switch over to the WNBA.
Yeah,
right? Like, that's not going to be a thing. So, it seems like they almost go out of their way sometimes to hurt themselves. It's like a self-sabotage type of thing. I don't know.
So.
Yeah,
it's a shame because they want this league to fail. They are maybe not. Maybe they don't want the league to fail. They want the teams to be loss leaders. Like they are using this more as tax write-offs.
Yeah, I was going to say you're using it as a tax shelter in that scenario, and I mean honestly, I do think that's true. Right? Because you're still running at a $40 million deficit. They're adding more teams. Right. So, I mean, ratings are up, money is up. They're like, okay, we're going to add teams and keep it, keep it a loser in that, financially. I don't know, man. It seems like there would be so many easier ways. And it's not even like you have to have it before the game on that network. It's not like it's got to take the place of the preseason game. It can still be on whatever network it's running on. It seems like any viewership you would have had, you're definitely not going to, because if you're a basketball fan, you're watching the finals. Even if you're a big WNBA fan, are you watching a regular season WNBA game, or are you watching the NBA finals? You're watching the finals. I mean, after the game, do you switch over and catch the second half of the game? Maybe.
I wouldn't even think that. Like, I think that you would probably
go to bed.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on the East Coast, right? So
I mean, I don't get into basketball as much, so I will watch this because it'll be on television, and specifically tonight. The Phillies are about to start here in in a half hour. So I'm obviously not at the Phillies game today.
Yeah, of course.
So.
No, I'm not a Yankees fan. That was just a Frankie logo that I forgot he had on there. My bad, Joe. My bad.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I guess wrestling fans aren't going to watch basketball at all. So I guess there's that. But no, I'm just saying basketball fans, like nobody's, I don't know. And it's too bad because, I mean, obviously we got a Storm game tonight and they're actually an entertaining team. Like they play really fast defense. It's a super young team, really inconsistent on the offensive side.
And they happen to be playing against the best team in the league right now. They're the one team is undefeated right this second. You know, they're
Yeah.
9-0 going against a 5-4 Storm team.
Yeah. No, so I mean,
Minnesota
like,
Lynx, by the way.
it's gonna be interesting to watch, right? Because again, Seattle does have a very swarming defense, and when the buckets are falling, they can play with anybody. They've just been wildly inconsistent on that end of the floor. So, but still, it starts in the middle of a finals game. Like, it just, again, why wouldn't you just do it a few hours earlier?
I mean, it would make sense, right? Because then it would be a precursor to the finals. So you might actually get more viewership because maybe people will tune into that and then go right into the finals.
No,
Maybe.
exactly. I mean, certainly TV viewers, I mean, would it hurt like ticket sales to get in the building? Probably not. It's not like arenas are huge, right? I mean, you're talking what, 5 to 10,000 people or most arenas. So, I mean, do I think that a city of 3.2, 3.4 million people could fill that even midday on a Wednesday? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
It's not good marketing on their standpoint.
It's weird. I just feel like they get in their own way a lot.
Yeah, well, and I think that they just don't care. They don't care. Because you think about this, when a game doesn't have Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark,
Sure.
There's nobody watching.
Yeah, you don't even hear about the game. And that, I mean, that's a whole different issue. But, and of course, you know, when you're looking at the, Caitlin Clark being injured, they're going to play this guy. And as much as they try and make it about Angel Reese, tickets for that game with no Clark, you could find as low as $3.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, you know, all the media like ESPN, Bleacher Report, SI, all of them never really talk anything about WNBA in their headlines unless it's something about Caitlin or Angel or some kind of controversy. If it's not one of those three things, they really don't ever talk about it, period.
So the part that really gets me about that is I'm okay with that to some degree, but it's when those panels have former WNBA players and they still don't mention the WNBA. That's where it's wild to me, because it's like, okay, like, you have someone that played. You can't do some little parallel to, like, you know, try and highlight the other league. I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm at a loss because it seems like very easy marketing that you could be slipping stuff in here and there. Advertising during the finals probably wouldn't hurt. A lot of eyeballs. I saw a commercial for the NBA finals during the finals. You know how you could see that commercial? You were already watching. That commercial was not necessary.
No, but you got to almost think, or at least I feel like that the NBA looks at the WNBA as like a tax write-off. You know, type of thing.
And that's exactly the thinking, is that's what it is they're doing. But I mean, how ridiculous is that? You have a commercial for the thing you're watching, and you can't highlight the other league you're trying to get off the ground. I don't know.
Well, and the truth of the matter is that that's part of the throw-in. That's just the throw-in.
No, for sure.
Advertisement. So ultimately, that's like, all right. Obviously, we got it. We have to do this because it's part of. They have to have a certain amount of advertisements during the week of the finals. So it includes these prime times. They still have to hit the prime times. And guess what's playing during the prime times? The game itself.
Yeah.
So
no, exactly. I mean, I get it, but it's ridiculous.
I understand. It's like having a commercial for the next year's Super Bowl during the Super Bowl.
Because I really believe that if the NBA was trying to really build the WNBA, if they're really trying to grow it, like you said, Bo, they would have WNBA commercials in the finals when everybody is watching, and that would be a great marketing point for that league.
Not to say that there hasn't been any, because I don't know if there has been in the finals.
If there has been, I haven't seen one.
In the conference finals, there were a couple.
Okay.
But even still, right?
You wouldn't know how to make it. You don't know how to have it grow. The WNBA grow. Have Taylor Swift start dating one of the players, and I'd be willing to bet that all of a sudden there would be, you know, 60 million new viewers to the WNBA.
Could you
Yeah,
imagine that?
yeah,
Hey, we
yeah,
are part of Pride Month, so it's not.
I mean, you're right.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
right. I mean, if there was ever the time for her to do it, this would be the month to do it in.
Yeah, and I can't really say like how Travis would feel about that, but
Nah, Travis
I mean,
probably liked it. I don't think Travis had an
Especially if
issue
he
with
was
it.
still dating her.
Look, with that handlebar mustache he's growing, I think he'd be all for it. I don't think. I'm pretty sure he'd be okay. He would have no issue. As long as he could join.
Yeah, I mean, of course, because I mean, you got players like Griner that are always in the news, not necessarily for basketball. Breonna Stewart, former Seattle, she's one of the best players in the league. Asia Wilson, she's multiple-time MVP. I mean, there's names that
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they just don't do a good marketing job with the product in general. And then, to start games in the middle of the finals seems ridiculous.
Have you tried to get your credentials for them?
Yes. So oddly enough, I am going to be talking to the Storm on Friday. So
awesome. I feel like that would make sense. You're pretty knowledgeable about this league in general. I mean, as far as most people that I know of, short of watching a little bit of ESPN when they have like 4 girls that are 7 foot tall talking to each other, who
Sure.
are like it's like because you have the 4 girls that are like 7 foot tall, and then the one girl who's like 4'9".
Right, she's like, bam, yeah.
And she's like the one white girl of the group.
Yeah.
Like if there's even a white girl anymore, they typically don't even have that anymore. Like so, I feel like in a lot of ways there is no appeal at all to anybody in that market. Like there's none at all to try to do this, and I feel like that's done purposely. I like this is a woke league. So because of that, it's gotta be 100% woke. It can't do any type of advertising for itself. And the problem then they wonder why they can't get paid. It's like listen,
Well,
you have to the game itself isn't the entertainment enough. Now, that's the problem.
Well, and it's hard to consume, right? Like it's not like it's on national broadcast. A lot of the games are on some streaming service that you have to even see it. Obviously they also only play half as many games. So, I mean, the season's shorter. You figure what? You got a 40-something game season. That means you only have 20 something games in your town, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of things that make it hard for them to get paid. I think the lack of eyeballs is really the biggest thing, because not having easy to consume national broadcast is tough. Now, the NFL starting to move into these streaming services and charging you $1,500 to be able to see all the games. They can do that because they've built the eyeballs to the point where people are like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do that because I want to see the product. People are.
It just seems to me like when it comes to the WNBA, the only thing I ever see on any of the platforms about the WNBA is when something bad happens, whether it be Angel talking smack on Caitlyn or Griner saying effing white girl or whatever. That's the only things I ever see make the headlines. I don't ever really see them talking about, hey, did you see this game, or what this person put up, or this, that, or the other. Well, it's always something negative or something of a catastrophic nature or a negative nature. That's what I see in the headlines when it comes to the WNBA.
And that's actually my point, is they make the game hard to consume. So
really,
what you hear about is negative stories because it's hard to watch the games.
Yeah,
because you have to have streaming services. They haven't built the viewership to then charge for watching the game.
Right.
On TV.
Right.
Like the NFL gets away with it because they have 100 million viewers all the time, right? These guys, they don't, right? Like they just don't have that kind of following. So making it hard to watch the games doesn't help your product grow.
I agree.
So one of the conversations that I'm going to have with the Storm on Friday is I applied there. I have to apply per game for credentials, right? Which, whatever, a little bit of a hassle, but it is what it is. And I got denied for it initially. And so I responded. I'm like, hey, you know what? I want to see why I got denied so that I can fix whatever, right? And so they send me an email and they're like, hey, we want to have a conversation with you because it looks like you primarily do, football and baseball and whatever. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, but we're trying to grow into all the other platforms, similar to adding rugby. I mean, we're a sports show, so we want to be able to follow sports. Holding us out of the arenas doesn't help us promote sports, doesn't help us grow into your league,
exactly
move your league further. And so, it's and it's not like the channel doesn't get views. I mean, my YouTube channel gets about 100,000 views a month. Like, that should, in theory, be a number that's enticing for somebody to want to see.
For sure. Right?
And that's the one platform.
And I don't know why they're making
but now I feel like we have to, as funny as this word I'm using right now, whitewash our. Yeah, I would whitewash our show.
So I mean, Jay, it was fun having you on, man. Like,
no, but you understand. I mean, I feel like now you have to gotta go through a little bit of our stuff, just because you don't want that going out there. I mean, we've had some pretty good conversation about this, but we've also had a little obtuse.
Yeah, well, I mean, so the thing is whether we do or I mean, obviously you don't want to be offensive, and that's true regardless, right? I mean, you don't want to be offensive to the teams that you're trying to cover. You don't want to be offensive to the people watching the show. I mean, obviously there's that, but I'm also not, ESPN, right? So I don't have TV contracts. Like, we're just trying to be in the room. We're not necessarily, trying to pander. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see how the phone call goes. I hope it's good. I hope we can get in there. But I mean, I've heard some interesting things as far as, when I was working the rugby game on Sunday, they don't necessarily let people in the media room that are just from the outside the area. So one of the photographers that was there, who does a lot of shoots for, things like USA Today, they are part of a channel that is strictly WNBA. But because the channel is originated outside of Seattle, even though she works in Seattle or lives in Seattle, they don't allow them in as far as media. That seems like an interesting position. Now, I don't know how true that is. Obviously, this is, something being told to me not by the team. So I don't know that that's 100%, the validity of it. I'm not entirely sure. But that being said, if that is true, that's weird. Why wouldn't you?
Well, it sounds very that they are doing it the opposite way. They are making sure that they control the narrative coming out specifically, and that it's, whatever it is that they want, because at any moment in time, I guess, when you are bringing in a media faction and you don't have control of that media faction, they can write whatever it is they want to, and it can be whatever type of storyline. Now, you don't have to let them in that next time around, but if you are over vetting, which sounds like they are doing, they are over vetting these places or these entities to make sure that they control the narrative. Well, at that point, now that's odd. Of course it's odd, because why are you trying to control the story so much? Like, is it can we not have the conversation of, like, even the conversation of why there isn't enough media to go around, or enough people talking about what's going on with the,
well,
with what's
and
happening in the first place.
In some ways, it's very telling. I can't imagine Seattle's the only one that does that. So then all of a sudden, you're gatekeeping the ability to even have a story, good or bad. At least it gets the league out there, right? So I don't know. It's such a weird position, right? I mean, they make it hard to consume on TV. They start some games during periods of time that just make no sense. They make it hard to get in the building. Everything they say says they want to grow, and all the actions say they don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that they make you go every game by game to get into that room.
So
I mean, you think that they would do like a year, like at the end of the year, you reapply or something like that. That'd be,
or month to month even.
Well, so here's the thing with it, and this is where I actually get the by game situation, right? I would imagine if you are ABC, Fox, NBC, any of these guys, they have credentials for the season. I am nobody to them, right? So for them to be like, yeah, we're going to make you do it game by game, I get it. Like, again, it's a little bit of a hassle, but totally understandable, because not only do they have to think about, okay, what is it you're going to write, but how are you going to act when you're in the building? Because we don't know who you are. Like, you could be a total jackass when you get here. We don't want to have you have credentials where you could sneak back in another time. So I appreciate it. I mean, when I went, for the rugby games, I didn't have a year-long credential. I had, they gave me a different game every time I arrived. Now,
right.
I didn't have to do an online thing. They knew I was coming. They just gave it. I just had to check in. But so, it was a little bit easier in that vein. But I didn't have a year-long credential for them either, because it was my first year covering them. Whereas with the Wolfpack, I had the year-long pass because I'd already done it for a season. So right. I mean, like, some of those things make a lot of sense because you're protecting your brand. You don't want somebody in there that's going to be a disruption or whatever.
And it probably is like, hey, listen, we're gonna do a game to game until we get you, until we know who you are, and it's no longer game to game. No. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like at that point, I'm sure they have them sitting there where after you've done it for like 5 games, like then you're like, okay, I come in, you sign your name to the open block, and you're in, and they know you, and that's part of what's going on. I mean, I can appreciate that. That makes sense to me.
And Rob's point here, this is accurate too. It shows that you're dedicated. You want to be there. You're not trying to be disruptive and stuff like that. So I mean, you're showing dedication to be in there as well. So I mean, again, those types of things, it's fine. Like, I'm not worried about that at all. But so hopefully the phone call on Friday is cool. That comes in like midday. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious what it is they're going to say. It could very well just be like, yeah, we don't want your help.
Well, we're thinking positively. They're going to say, Bo, we are definitely looking forward to you.
Yeah, no, it'd be like, we positively do not want you in our building. But no, I mean, it's
actually, I'd be interested. I would actually enjoy that a little bit, because like if we created a segment, like if it was and just dedicated like 10 minutes per game, we'll say, that you get to cover. You know what I mean? Once you've started to do that and we're a part of it, like, does Houston have a team? I don't even know if Houston has a team or
not. No, when the Comets left, they never came back. I'm hoping they'll get one eventually, but as of right now, no.
That's another one that was weird because you guys won 4 championships,
bro.
Right?
You know what it is? It goes back to what we were saying earlier. I think Leslie Alexander, after the 4th championship, I think it was not making him the money that he was looking for. So he just said, you know what, we're going to let it go. And it just never came back. Because you can't tell me if you win 4 championships. And that place was selling out. I mean, they had nice parades for the Comets. I don't know why he felt that way, but it's got to be a money thing. It can't be anything other than that. Otherwise, I think he would have kept it. You know what I mean?
Of course it's a money thing because the league still loses a ton of money. So even if you're winning championships, your team isn't making money, right? Because how you're making money isn't really on the ticket sales. It's the TV deals and stuff like that. Ticket sales keep the doors open. The TV contracts and all of that's your money.
Oh, for sure.
But if there aren't those, right?
Yeah. And I really believe that's what it was. I think Leslie just didn't see it as a moneymaker, and so he just let it go. I'm hoping maybe one day we'll get it back. I pray we get it back because I did go to the Comets games and I enjoyed it when we had them.
Well, and the league is expanding. There are 2 teams coming into the league 2 years from now.
And I know they'll get the following. I know the fans will support it. I'm just hoping they'll bring it back.
Yeah, no, I mean, but you guys aren't one of the teams coming back this next time.
No, I doubt we are.
I forget where the second team is, but Golden State is getting a team. So
okay.
Don't they have a team already?
No,
not a WNBA.
All right.
There's only a handful of teams, isn't there? Like, was it like 10 or 12 teams, I think, in the league? Or maybe more than that.
I think there's 14.
Is it 14?
I'll have to look. It's 12 or 14.
Yeah. I mean, there's only a handful or a couple handfuls of teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge league, but again, it's tough to grow into a huge league when you're not making money.
Well, that's true.
Right.
For some reason, Angel Reese thinks she should be making $1 billion, and I'm like, no, you're not. The league's not there yet for you to get that kind of money. I mean,
Joe, I have no idea. Don't have a good answer for you. Actually, I take that back. I think he might have been. I think they might have had games today.
No, yeah, he's got games today. I
think he has games this morning. I think this is what it was.
I think they're if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're in the playoff rounds of it. So it's getting down to the nitty gritty for those guys.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think because his other team went to nationals or something, and then I think his other team is playing today.
I think it's a high school team that he's got going on right now that's still playing.
Something like that. So that guy's somewhere.
He's somewhere.
So stepping over into the normal NBA, since we have game 3 tonight, Pacers lose this game. They haven't won a game 3 this postseason. So I'm going to go with they probably don't win one tonight. I would fully imagine OKC pulls ahead 2-1.
I probably believe that OKC is going to win it tonight as well. I will throw one stat out there, though, is the fact that the Pacers in the playoffs have not lost back-to-back games either, though. So I'm wondering if that trend will continue. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, these are just who knows. Or will they pull a cardiac kids and maybe the Thunder come off the gas a little bit if they are in the lead, and if they pull one of those dramatic, come from behind wins when you got like, what was the largest one they had? I think it was like 10 points. They had like a minute and a half left to go, and all of a sudden they come in, they win the game. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to eventually the magic runs out if you have to come from behind all the time, right? Eventually you're going to find a matchup issue, and that's where this is they play very similar style basketball. OKC is just better at it across the board. So can the Pacers win? Yeah, of course. But when you saw what they did in game 1, right? They rally back, they win by a point. When OKC starts hitting, they beat them up.
Oh, yeah.
They're deeper. They do everything just a little bit better. And so if the Pacers are perfect, can they win? Of course. If they're not, they definitely lose. Joe, I don't think it's going to be 4-1 though. I do think the Pacers snag one more game. It's probably going to be 6 games.
I do think the interesting stat, and I know we talked about this a minute ago, is even in the game that they got by 1 point, they got it with OKC shooting 39%. So let that sink in for a minute. I mean, even when the OKC is having an off night shooting the ball, they still only lose by a point to the number one offense in the league.
the biggest part about that was OKC fell apart in the fourth.
They did.
So
they did.
If you looked at that game, the Pacers got better every quarter.
Yeah.
And OKC really trailed off at the end of the game. So that's where the Pacers were able to come back. Obviously, Halliburton drops a game winner. But yeah, I mean that was OKC. Their field goal percentage really dropped because of their fourth quarter. They actually shot way better early in the game. So call it what it is. But again, if you got to come from behind all the time, eventually that's going to catch up with you.
Yeah, I definitely believe in the law of averages that it's not going to sustain it. I don't know. And there have been other teams out there that have been labeled the cardiac kids, and it never has panned out for any of those teams. So, yeah, I agree with you 100%. But I just think that the Pacers aren't going to have enough. And I really do think tonight's a big pivotal game. It really is the most pivotal game. And if they don't get tonight, yeah, it's definitely over.
I mean, I don't know if I'd rule anybody out after game 3, but still, I mean, a lot of things would have to go their way. Someone might have to get hurt, or they got to just start balling out of their minds, something like that. But I mean, I wouldn't rule the Pacers out. They've found ways to win all postseason, but they're not the better team.
I just feel like if they take the first game in Indiana, I feel like it's going to take some of that momentum out of them a little bit. It's like a gut punch game 1, because then you're losing back-to-back games, right? And also it depends on how bad game 3 is. If game 3 is another OKC blowout, even if they win by 10, you got to think that that's going to kind of mess with the teams a little bit.
Yeah, probably not for the Pacers, only because they play from behind so much.
Right.
Even in series, they've been behind at times. So, I mean, like, they've found ways to persevere through that scenario. So I don't think that's going to be the issue. I think it's just going to be, OKC is just a little bit better. And so if you're playing at equal footing, OKC has the advantage.
Yeah.
Again, I still want to see the Pacers win, because I don't want to.
Yeah, I think Caruso is a big part of that OKC team in terms of the defense that he brings to the table. I think if Caruso comes out and has a good night along with the rest of the crowd off the bench, that really will put them in a good spot. Yeah. What a time to be.
And then I have one fun Mariners thing for you. Other than Cal is leading the league in home runs somehow. But Kirby, 500 strikeouts, only 68 walks in 93 games. Since 1901, the only other player to have 500 plus, under 70 walks in 93 starts, Greg Maddux. Not terrible company to be in.
That's not terrible company at all.
Lost 10-3 last night. Doesn't make any difference. But, it's fun to know that a couple of our guys are doing good.
Hey, I got a fun stat for you. And since we're talking baseball. So in Class it is Class D minor league, but in Class D minor league game on May 13th, 1952, 19-year-old Ron Neckiel struck out 27 batters in 9 innings for a no-hitter. He fanned every single hitter he faced, a feat never duplicated in any pro game. 27 strikeouts, 9 innings. I just thought I'd throw that out there. That was kind of interesting when I saw it.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
You got outfielders picking dandelions. They're like, oh yeah, okay.
and he was in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization.
Oh, that's why I never heard about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's exactly right. I had a picture of him, but I don't know what happened. But anyway, Pittsburgh Pirates. Who would have thought? Paul Skeens. Hey, maybe he's the next. Whatever. It looks like he's in the Cy Young Award contest lead right now for the National League side of it. So, go Paul.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in today. We did eventually talk about sports.
I was gonna say it started off a little slow, but did come back around again. So I thought we were gonna go tinfoil hats, and next thing you know, we're actually back on sports.
Yeah, well, a sports show should dabble in some sports sometimes.
How about that?
If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us. No NFL today. And if you are on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Peace.